disagree, but
I
that's okay.
disagree with that.
Disagree with the disagree.
I raise your disagreement with another disagreement.
Foxy's videos of the week. Two serious ones, two funny ones. So let's go ahead and get into it. Do you understand the fact that in this country, change seems to be different, even though the tragedies are the same?
During 9/11, 2,977 people died. Almost immediately, airports started implementing security precautions that are still used today to prevent anything like this from happening again.
Yep.
The very next largest attack on American soil was the Boston Marathon. 3 people died and 281 people were injured. And immediately, they changed the rules for the Boston Marathon. They did not ask the runners to carry guns. They also didn't ask the spectators to carry guns to protect people. Since the year 1970, there have been 1,924 separate incidences of school shootings. Since 1970, over 5,000 children have either died or been injured by gun violence on school grounds in the United States. If you can hear that and honestly tell me there's no reason for gun change, you're a disgusting person and I have no respect for you.
But I want it.
The Second Amendment. I have rights.
You see, you government, I don't want to say you people, you, the government of the United States, can surely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, from this point on, as my wife like to always say, cut the bullshit. That you can't do something. Because 9/11, I remember, and those rules and regulations that you got for the airport is still going on today.
Yep, gotta take your shoes off. Got it.
When the Boston Marathon came, what was it, a week and a half, you changed the rules again for the security of a marathon. When it comes to school shootings, I'm sorry, our hands are tied. We have nothing. What we can't do nothing. Free America, Second Amendment, everything else. From the words of my wife, Foxy, stop the bullshit. You can. You just don't want to. It's a totally different thing. I would rather you, like Thea say, I'd rather you just be honest and say that you just don't want to.
Yeah, just
go
say
ahead
it.
and just be out there like it. Stop saying that you can't do something.
Nope.
When 9/11 happened, boy, them damn rules was changed so quick. You got the organization together. You put a group of TSA agents together quicker than you put the rules and regulations or what they're supposed to do together.
Still gotta take my shoes off.
You had the scanners up before. You had scanners up within 24 hours at every airport. How would I know this? Because Charlotte was the second TSA point. The first point was Atlanta. And they rolled it out to all the other airports. How do I know that, Marlon? How would you know that, Marlon? Because I was a trainer who went to those other airports to help train other TSA agents on how to implement that stuff. So you can roll
what's really
hard.
funny?
You can roll hard when you really want to roll hard.
You just don't want to.
You just don't want to.
Yeah. That's what's so funny about it. That's why I said, but I want it. Because that's what it like everything comes down to. Remember, we don't like being told no. You got the modern day plague just dropping folks left and right and left. Don't know what's happening. Don't know where it's coming from. All we know is that it seems like it may be airborne. So, hey, everybody, put on a mask. But I don't want to. More rights. We got a mass shooting every day. It's like a 1-2 skip a few for mass shootings in America.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do anything about what guns are out there at what levels or quantities because you don't want to. Because you're right. America can't rise to any occasion because we're so spoiled that we can't handle being told no.
No, yeah.
We're like a nation of toddlers. And it's just
again, you're insulting the toddlers. Stop insulting the children.
LL, let me answer this question for you right now. And hello, LL.
What's up?
I hate to be the one to tell you, but more gun laws won't reduce school incidents. I moved away from that argument a long time ago by saying, do something.
Anything.
Because I don't want you to see, I nearly do. I am so sick and tired, and I'm not jumping on you, LL. I get exactly what you're saying. I was the first to sit there and say, we need to put more gun laws in it. No, we don't need to put more gun laws. We need to enforce the freaking laws that we have now.
The ones that we have?
That's how it's happening. You're not even enforcing the laws that you have on the books. So putting more gun laws on what? You just use up more paper and ink? Like,
but that's part
what
of the
you do, Marlon, in the schools, you close the door, right? And just have one door. And just hope that a fire doesn't start. That's what you do. You hope a fire doesn't start because you're supposed to, by law, have two entrances.
What I was going to say is, when I hear we just need to enforce the laws that are on the books, I hear it as yet another deflection, similar to when we talk about mental health with gun issues. So because first of all, do we have the right laws on the books? Just having laws on the books is one thing. Do we have the right ones? Right? Maybe that's why many of them aren't being enforced because they don't make sense. Right? The stuff they pass now don't half the time make sense. So to me, and I put this in one of my videos, folks, if you're in Congress, a big part of your job should be going through all the laws and getting rid of the ones that don't make sense anymore, updating the ones that need to be updated, and making new ones where there's new ones needed. That should be your job. So, yeah, enforce the ones on the books, but some of the books laws are probably going to be racist as hell. They're going to have loopholes miles wide.
Yeah.
You know, and then plus also it's also hard to prove a negative, right? So like when you're at work and you're responsible for relaying a message that comes from upstairs and your team never likes the message, at least I've not had a time where upstairs sent something down and it made sense and everybody loved it. I haven't experienced that one yet. What do you have to tell them? Guys, gals, people, we have to try it. And if it breaks, we can say why it didn't work. But we can't say it's not going to work. And we haven't even tried it. So we want to stop what's happening with all these mass killings. And the first thing they say every single time, well, that ain't going to stop it. What one thing in the world is going to stop much of anything? If it was a simple one-step solution, we would have fixed it a long time ago.
Right.
So let's try this and then try something else.
And that's why I said, that's why I was saying, LL, that's why I don't like arguing that argument anymore. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. Hey, I'll meet you halfway. Can we try it first?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just try
And if it
something.
don't work, okay, let's move on to the other thing that's not going to work. But let's try these things other than just saying, I'm looking on the outside, reading a piece of paper, like what this was saying. Let's start with looking at the books. But you know what the problem with that is? You actually have to do something.
Yep, how dare you? I got to fundraise. I have to fundraise so that I can win election again and not do anything once I get there.
Sorry, I had to yell at W to Foxy. She going to
No, but similar to like when you're dealing with your children or you're dealing with your employees or you're dealing with whatever, change is always going to be resisted because change is uncomfortable. So let's try it first. Let's put the right thoughts in first. That's a big part of it. You got to pre-plan, plan,
and then if it doesn't work, be like, hey, well, this didn't work.
Right?
Let's do something else.
But we want to skip steps all the time, and we want to go straight to do. And I'm like, that's not effective.
Issue, hypothesis, research, conclusion. I know I said this yesterday. Like, we was talking about people who come up with issues from out of nowhere, and they just jump from conclusion, problem, back to conclusion, probably, because you ain't going to... Well, no, I'm sorry. Conclusion, problem, research the conclusion to get the conclusion that you want. So it's not literally any hypothesis in it, because hypothesis means you actually had a thought process on it. Your research is trying to get to the conclusion that you already had. So that's why I say I don't like the argument of it's not going to work, because, and I'm not I'm not begrudging anybody. You may literally be saying, what you're doing may not work. We've seen it in blah, 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 and history have shown it, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I agree with you. What I may have an issue with what you're saying is, but you're standing still. And that's the problem that I have with you, is you not doing this situation does not mean that you have the right to do nothing. And that's the problem that I have with you. You have to do something. Something has to be done. If it's not your idea, Joe Blow may have a better idea. Susie Q may have a better idea. Uncle Frank may have a better idea. Aunt Judy may have a better idea. The point is, there's a whole bunch of ideas out there that's sitting on a dusty desk because somebody don't even want to try to do any of them.
Yeah, I'm serious. I look at it, and I know people sometimes get frustrated with like my approach to much of anything, right? Because I come at it. I intentionally try to come at things from multiple angles. So I can't stand absolutist thinking. And that's what we are hearing. If you can't give me one law that will fix all things, then we need to wait for that perfect solution. And I'm like, that's not how anything in life works.
Meanwhile, children are dying.
Exactly.
Perfect law.
So what's that phrase that the Democrats love to say it, but they say it it has about as much weight as thoughts and prayers, but they say something along the line of,
not the time.
No, they say don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, or something like that, or however the words fit. But basically saying, and what the saying is true. I agree with the saying, but I don't agree with how they use it. But all they're basically saying is, look, we know this ain't gonna be perfect. This ain't gonna hit everybody's wish list. It's not gonna fix whatever the problem is, but it will take us from 20% to 80%. And can you not agree that hitting 80 is better than 20? And then if you would come into that, and they would be of good faith, because they're not good faith actors. Neither side of this discussion is. Because if they're operating in good faith, then the Democrats would come with something and say, okay, look, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we propose. Let's, screw that. Here's my plan. Couple different things. You got to get insurance out there, right? So everybody's about individualism. Okay, you can have whatever gun you want to have, right? Short of like bazookas and stuff, but you have whatever gun you want to have. You want AR-15s? You want Glock, whatever's? Yeah, whatever you want. But you have to have insurance on each and every one of those weapons that you have, and those weapons have to be registered with the government. And based on the type of weapon you chose to have, your insurance is going to reflect that, because you're going to have to make sure that you are liable for whatever happens with this thing. You start making people up front be responsible for the care, custody, and the liability of these weapons, you will see some behavior changes. You will see people protecting their stuff a little bit better. Then at the same time, you got to go to the manufacturers, and you're going to be like, look, every gun that comes out of this store, you need to know exactly where it is at any given time up until the point that it is purchased. If you cannot account for every last one of them, then you are liable, right? Before an event even happens, the government comes in, they audit your records. I got 3,000 guns that I can't find a buyer for. Now you shut them down, sue them, whatever you do, right? Then on the other side, you got to get universal health care. I'm sorry, you just got to do it, because when someone gets shot or someone gets hurt, I don't want to be wondering who their insurance company is. I don't want them having to worry about because they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now their family is bankrupt because they got shot in the dressing room at a Dillard's. Okay, so that has happened. We got to come at it with so many layers, but everyone wants to just sit back and say, well, if we just get rid of the AR-15, everything will be okay. And the thing is, the AR-15 is one particular type of gun.
Yeah.
One. Right? And it comes in like 100 variations. And then there's clones and duplicates and ghost guns and all these other.
And people making guns. I'll just make one at home.
So the trick is, if you really want to take care of these kids, yes, you do need. The reality of the situation is we do have to do something about how the schools are secured. I hate they even have to say that. I really, because it already upsets me when I go to my daughter's schools and they feel like I'm in some kind of juvenile detention center or a jail. That's what it feels like when I'm in there. Okay. So you want to boost the security, you're going to make it even more like that. But unfortunately, that's where we are, because we have the situation that we have. So yes, you do need to strengthen the schools. But how are you going to do that? Are you going to strengthen all the schools equally, or are you just going to focus on the kids that you care most about? We know how America works, y'all. Come on. And then arming the teachers? No, you shouldn't be arming the teachers. But every school has a police department nearby it. They need to be on red alert and ready to respond quickly and efficiently. Like, there's so many things we'd have to do. So you would do some of the things that conservatives want to do. You do some of the things that the liberals want to do, and you do some of the things that the progressives want to do. But damn it, do something.
Yeah, this whole we got to wait for the perfect. Let's get this straight. Nothing's ever going to stop gun violence 100%. Nothing. People are going to keep peopling.
Yeah, let me go ahead.
And every time one of y'all knuckleheads say some junk about, well, it's not the gun, it's the shooter. They got mental health issues. I need a Democrat to take their head out their ass whenever that is brought up to them and say, well, let's start there.
Nope.
You said that mental health is the problem, why all these things are happening. How do we help with the mental health crisis in this country so that we can get ahead of the problem? If you want to blame it on mental health, which I already have a problem with, because most people with mental health issues are very peaceful. Okay? They just mind their business like everybody else. But if you want to blame it on mental health and you don't want to talk about the guns, okay, let's start there.
And stop cutting out your behavioral health budget and then, no, you just cut it. We know where your priorities lie.
And let me go ahead and do this real quick so we can move on, because it's getting late and I surely cannot do another 3-hour show.
No, I gotta be up at 5 o'clock.
No, I gotta be up at 6.
Yesterday was almost 4 hours.
Yep,
Yeah.
it sure was. I'm like, y'all just talk
Well,
too
we
much.
did-
I'm like, ooh, they don't shut up.
We missed each other. LL, what you're putting in the comments is what we've been saying for the longest time. We can sit here on the sideline. We can come up with ideas. We can come up with every idea that we could possibly come up with. And we can come up with every idea why that's not going to work.
Sure
That's
can.
not my argument. That's not my argument anymore. I can't argue this is not going to work because of this. This is not going to work because of this. History has shown this to haven't worked. But I can't do that because the alternative is, and I'm not saying LL that you're doing it, but the alternative, if we're going to use history, is the alternative is if this is not going to work, we're not going to do nothing. That's what history has shown. That if this does not literally eliminate all issues that we ever had in this country since day one, we're not going to do absolutely nothing at all. And that video has shown the young lady, and I applaud the young lady because she was right on it. Nobody sit there and said, well, we need to create a TSA that's going to stop people from bringing guns on the planes.
We wasn't even
I don't
thinking
remember
about it.
anybody saying that ain't going to work. Even if they did, they didn't listen. This is what happened, and this is what we're going to do, and you need to suck it up. That was what happened. That's exactly what happened. We have sat there many a time sitting there going, why are we still taking our freaking shoes off on one person with a...
And they still make you take your shoes
And they
off when
still
you walk.
make you do it.
They not changing?
My point is, they didn't ask, would this work? They just went, this is what we're going to do. Suck it up if you don't like it. Period. Point blank in a subject, moving on. So when we keep coming up with it, that's not going to work. 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 Hey, you know what? Let's try to find out what happens. And granted, LL, I'll even put this out there like this. We know, we on this show, because this is a very smart panel, we can smell BS from a mile away. If you implement something that we know damn well is going to be racist, bigoted, homophobic, xenophobic, and everything else, we know damn well why you put that law and why that law passed so damn quickly.
Yeah.
We know. We know. So don't even worry about that's not going to work because you know it's going to be against the black community. We fucking know that. We got laws on the book right now that's against the black community. We already know that. If you're not white, a male, and rich, you're straight. I'm straight. I'm sorry. Black, male, straight, rich person in this country.
You said white male, not black
You mean
male.
white, not
White,
black.
male, straight, and rich. You're the most secure individual in this country.
You sure are.
And
life still ain't
they
fair for
have
you either.
laws on the book to make sure that you are. So don't even worry about it. We can smell the BS when it comes across. And we'll report it on here, and we'll get the word out as far as we can. But let's go ahead and move on.